Well, there's in the Bible, you can find people's names spelled lots of different ways, cities spelled lots of different ways, because it's different time, so different ways to spell, different languages. So, and I don't know why the Bible would do that exactly, but it does. So let's say Jacob, in one place it's called Jeshurun. So, or Israel, the children of Israel are called Jeshurun. So, what happened with the other is they suspended me. So, yeah, I don't know. It's all right. It happens.
Did you say the opposite of corn?
No, it's so easy to get suspended on TikTok. All that has to happen, or on YouTube, all that has to happen is somebody report you and say you did something, and then they have to investigate it. And they got 24 hours to investigate it, and then they turn it back on if they don't investigate it or if they don't find anything that's wrong. But, you know, a devil worshiper, if they come on here, they're going to just report it. You know, if they come on this live, they're just going to say, well, I'm reporting this right away and get it shut down. So, it's all right. That's the way they do. But a lot of people, again, when they translate this Ezekiel 28, they take half of it and say that's for the king of Tyre. And this other part is a whole nother human. Or it's actually Satan. But that's ridiculous, because if you're talking about the same chapter, it's talking about the same person. So it's talking about the king of Tyre, and then it starts right here in verse 12. It says, Son of man, take up thy lamentation against the king of Tyre. See, that's, or Tyrus, it says there. Over here it says, so it says Tyrus over here too. So I always thought it said Tyre. I don't know why I just knew it was Tyre.
Same place?
Yeah, same place. Interesting though. Take up your lamentations on the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord God, Thou sealest up the sum full of wisdom, and perfect in beauty. So this is how you know that it's Satan incarnated. Thou hast been in Eden, in the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering. The sardius, the topaz, the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, the carbuncle, and the gold, and the workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou wast created. So he's talking about how Satan, everybody knows,
Minister of music.
right, minister of music, that he has pipes in his body that can play any kind of instrument out of them they want, that he wants to. So, interesting. Verse 14, Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth. I have set thee so. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of God. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou wast created, till iniquity was found in thee. By the multitude of thy merchandise they have filled the midst of thee with violence. And thou hast sinned. Therefore I will cast thee as profaned out of the mountain of God, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by the reason of thy brightness. I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee before the kings, that they may behold thee. Thou hast defiled the sanctuaries by the multitude of thine iniquities, by the iniquity of thy traffic. Therefore will I bring forth a fire from the midst of thee. It shall devour thee, and I will bring thee to ashes upon the earth in the sight of all them that behold thee. Now this is what the other books say, is that King of Tyre, Hiram Abiff, was in his crystal palace and over in the ocean that he built right in the middle of the ocean, and he says, I am God, and I sit in the seat of God, because I'm sitting in this heaven. He built his own heaven, because there's no earth, so it's like heaven. It's in the middle of nowhere, up in the air. But it was still material. So then it says that the angel was sent to him, and the angel came to him and told him all this stuff right here. And then he touched him with his sword, so it would have been Michael. And then he spontaneously combusted. So and then right here it tells you that that's what had happened. So it's interesting. First time I heard it, I was like, read that story out of another book. I was like, that doesn't sound right. Then when I read this, so verse 18 again. Thou hast defiled the sanctuaries by the multitude of thy iniquities, by the iniquity of thy traffic. Therefore will I bring forth a fire from the midst of thee. It shall devour thee, and I will bring thee to ashes upon the earth in the sight of all them that behold thee, from all the masons. Because this guy's like the king, one of the kings of the masons. Verse 19. All they that know thee among the people shall be astonished at thee. Thou shalt be a terror, and never shalt thou be any more. Again the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Zidon, and prophesy against it. So Tyre, the city of Tyre, is in the land of Zidon, which is also the land of Syria, is where it is. It's Syria now. But it was called Zidon. The reason why it was called Zidon is because there was this particular man that was a Canaanite, and his name was Zidon. And he was the sheriff of that area. This was before the Israelites moved into the area. Well, they were in Zidon, the country was still there after the Israelites moved in also, because the Zidonians were the law. In fact, in the book of Judges, chapter 14, I think it is, it says that the children of Dan were looking for a place to live, and they knew that the Zidonians were not around, so they could kill anybody they wanted. Because the Zidonians were sheriffs. They controlled the law at that time, so they could do anything they want if there's no Zidonians, which there wasn't at that down in the south. So, verse 22, And I say, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I am against thee, O Zidon, and I will be glorified in the midst of thee. And they shall know that I am the Lord when I shall have executed judgment in her, and shall be sanctified in her. For I will send into her pestilence and blood into her streets, and the wounded shall be judged in the midst of her by the sword upon her on every side, and they shall know that I am the Lord. There shall be no more a pricking bearer unto the house of Israel, nor any grieving thorn of all that are round about them, that despise them, and they shall know that I am the Lord God. Thus saith the Lord God, when I should have gathered the house of Israel from the people among whom they are scattered, and shall be sanctified in them in the sight of the heathen, then shall they dwell in their land that I have given to my servant Jacob. And they shall dwell safely therein, and shall build houses and plant vineyards. Yea, they shall dwell with confidence when I have executed judgment upon all those that despise them round about them. And they shall know that I am the Lord their God. So, I'm going to read some of 29. In the 10th year, in the 10th month, and the 12th day of the month, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and prophesy against him and against all Egypt, speaking. Speak and say, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I am against thee, Pharaoh, king of Egypt, the great dragon which lieth in the midst of the rivers, which hath said, My river is my own, and I have made it for myself. But I will put hooks in thy jaw, and will cause the fish of thy rivers to stick unto thy scales, and I will bring thee up out of the midst of the river, and all the fish of thy river shall stick unto thy scales, and I will lead thee thrown into the wilderness, thee and all the fishes of the river. Thou shalt fall upon the open field, and thou shalt not be brought together, nor gathered. I have given thee for meat to the beasts of the field, and to the fowls of the heaven. Oh, I know why. I remember because I did a live broadcast last night, and it was I was playing the Bible all night long, or this morning, I guess. And so maybe that's why TikTok. Somebody probably complained because they didn't like the Bible. So all it takes is one complaint, they'll shut you down. The beasts of the fields and the fowls of the heaven. And verse 6, And all the inhabitants of Egypt shall know that I am the Lord because they have seen a staff of reed to the house of Israel. When they took hold of thee by thy hand, and didst break and rent all their shoulders, and when thou leanest upon thee, thou breakest and madest all their lions to be at a stand. So the main reason why I want to read this is because of how it says that sin lives in the river of Egypt. It's a dragon. So I don't think it's physical. I think it's a spiritual dragon that lives in that river. It's my opinion. So let's see. Go to Ezekiel chapter 8 real quick. We'll do a little bit right here, then I'm going to let y'all do stuff.
Let you know that I'll have to take off at 8. The neighbor needs a ride
Okay.
at 8 o'clock.
All right.
The guy across the street,
Okay.
yeah, they don't have their wheels are going.
Okay. Chapter 8 of the book of Ezekiel. And it came to pass in the 6th year, in the 6th month, in the 5th day of the month, as I sat in my house, and the elders of Judah sat before me, that the hand of the Lord God fell there upon me. Then I beheld, and lo, a likeness as an appearance of fire. So again, he's sitting with the elders of Judah. So he's sitting with the Pharisees. The appearance, of fire, from the appearance of his loins even downward, fire. And from his loins even upward as the appearance of brightness and the color of amber. So this is Jesus standing in front of him. He's on fire. Jesus is the fireman. And he put forth the form of an hand, and took me by the lock of mine head. And the Spirit lifted me up between the earth and heaven, and brought me in visions of God to Jerusalem. So he astro traveled to the door of the inner gate that looketh towards the north, where was the seat of the image of jealousy, which provoketh to jealousy. Also, just to say, Ezekiel was a black guy, because he took him up by his lock, so he had dreadlocks. Verse 4, And behold, the glory of God, of the God of Israel, was there according to the vision that I saw in the plain. Then said he unto me, Son of man, lift up thine eyes now in the way towards the north. So I lifted up mine eyes the way towards the north, and behold, northward at the gate of the altar this image of jealousy in the entry. So this image is a false god. That's who it is. So it's the image of jealousy. So it's probably, what it tells me it is the triangle on the back of the dollar bill. The jealous eye is what they call that. So that's why I think it's that imagery. Verse 6. He said furthermore unto me, Son of man, seest thou what they do, even the great abominations that the house of Israel committeth here, and that I should go far off from my sanctuary, but turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations. So what he's showing them here, he's sitting with the Pharisees, and maybe the Sadducees, but definitely all of the Sanhedrin council. And all of a sudden, Jesus comes with a giant hand, picks him up by his hair, takes him to Jerusalem, and he shows him what those guys are doing when they're not doing things in front of people. So what these guys are is not the first, but they are Masons. They're practicing Masonry. That's what the image of jealousy is. We know that's a Masonic sign on the dollar bill. So you sent me something. I didn't get to watch it yet.
There's a lot of interesting stuff out right now.
I'll definitely watch that in a minute. So verse 7, and he brought me to the door of the court, and when I looked, behold, an hole in the wall. Then said he unto me, Son of man, dig now in the wall. And when I had digged in the wall, behold, a door. And he said unto me, Go in, and behold the wicked abominations that they do here. So I went in and saw, and behold, every form of creeping thing and abominable beast, and all the idols of the house of Israel portrayed upon the wall round about. So we got all these idols in this place. And there stood before them 70 men of the ancients of the house of Israel. And in the midst of them stood Jaazaniah, the son of Shaphan, with every man his censer in his hand, and a thick cloud of incense went up. Then said he unto me, Son of man, hast thou seen what the ancients of the house of Israel do in the dark, every man in his chamber of his imagery? For they say, The Lord see us not. The Lord hath forsaken the earth. So that's why they started worshiping devils, and they still are, because they got the sign of Satan right on their flag. So they're not a synagogue of the Jews, they're a synagogue of Satan, is what they are. The people in Israel are. By proxy, because they have that on their flag, the sign of Satan, which actually is the highest form of dark magic. That hexagon, that's the sign of black magic. He said also unto me, verse 13, Turn ye thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations that they do. Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord's house, which is toward the north. And behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz. Might as well look up what Tammuz is. I already know what it is. It's a devil that they celebrate for Lent. So at the time of Lent, when Catholics are celebrating Lent, they think they're doing something for God, but they're actually celebrating Tammuz. Tammuz is a 40-day celebration just before the Passover. And so all the Catholics are worshiping Tammuz without even knowing it. So much going on right now. It's crazy. So if they were doing that then, they still do it now. And just to say, what would they do after the end of the 40 days? They would sacrifice a virgin. So, probably eat her. 15. Then said he unto me, Hast thou seen this? O son of man, turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations than these. And he brought me into the inner court of the Lord's house, and behold, the door of the temple of the Lord between the porch and the altar were about 25 men, with their backs turned towards the temple of the Lord, and their faces towards the east. And they worshiped the sun towards the east. Then he said unto me, Hast thou seen this, O son of man? Is it a like thing to the house of Judah, that they commit the abominations which they have committed here? For they have filled the land with violence, and have returned to provoke me to anger. And lo, they put the branch to their nose. Therefore will I also deal in fury. Mine eyes shall not spare, neither will I have pity. And though they cry in my ears with a loud voice, yet will I not hear them. So, the next is the same, it's still going on. So, it keeps just going for a couple more chapters where he's seeing visions about what they're doing. The Masons. What the Masons are doing. Because that's who owns Israel right now, is the Masons. So, eventually God's going to get them. But right now, he's letting them do their thing. You got something, Tommy?
Oh, yeah. Just real
Right.
quick. Oh. Well, to let you know, I just want to thank you, Jesus, and the last time that we were together, you had filmed me. Remember the little shorts you were doing? And my son said, my other son, one of my shorts, ended up upsetting. Because he wanted to be mad at me, the one in Alaska. He's always wanting to, be a little bit judgmental, and he's always angry with his life, and so somehow it's everybody else's fault. But when he seen me preaching, it was a good thing. So whatever was going on with Eddie, he just stopped talking to my other son. He got angry because my son was supporting me, Tony, So, but the good thing is that means God's working on him. See, whenever there's a conflict, so whenever there's something going on, God is shaking and moving. He says he is a consuming fire. So what happens when the land catches on fire? So I just wanted to share this with you. There's a couple of trees